I parked my dusty old truck at the edge of the gravel road and stared at the place that once felt like home. The wooden cabin stood exactly where I built it, only now there were shiny metal signs on the fence, screaming private property, no trespassing. My heart sank. I laughed softly, shaking my head. No trespassing? On my own land? As I opened the gate, a woman's voice came slicing through the quiet air. "Hey, you can't be here," she yelled, stomping down the porch stairs. She was dressed like a sheriff of the suburbs, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other. "This property is under HOA jurisdiction now. Didn't you see the signs?" I looked at her calm but firm. "Ma'am, I built this cabin 10 years ago. I left for work overseas. That land, every inch of it, is mine." She smirked, flipping her blonde hair. "Not anymore. You abandoned it. The HOA took over maintenance, so technically, it's under our management. You'll need to leave before I call security." Her tone had that fake authority people use when they think rules bend for them. I didn't move. The autumn wind brushed the dirt off my boots as I said quietly, "You really think paper signs change ownership?" She took a step closer, recording me on her phone. "You're trespassing. You'll regret this." I smiled faintly, almost tiredly. "Maybe," I said, "but not for the reason you think." Her confident expression flickered just a little. She didn't know yet what I had in my truck, or the kind of proof waiting in my glove box. She followed me as I walked toward the cabin, her phone still pointed at my back like it was a weapon. "I'm recording this for HOA records," she said, pretending her words carried the weight of the law. I stopped at the porch steps, brushing away the dust that had gathered over the years. My old welcome mat was still there, half buried under dry leaves. I bent down, lifted it, and there it was, a small brass key, the same one I left before I went overseas. Her voice got louder. "Hey, you can't touch that! You're tampering with HOA property." I looked up at her, amused. "Lady, this key doesn't open your HOA meetings. It opens my front door." She scoffed. "That cabin belongs to the neighborhood association now. It was marked abandoned and absorbed under the common property clause. You people think you can just come back after 10 years and claim things that aren't yours?" I stood up slowly, brushing the dirt off my hands. "You people?" I asked. She blinked, realizing she'd said too much, but it was too late. I meant..." "Yeah," I said quietly. "You meant exactly what you said." She crossed her arms, defensive now. "Look, rules are rules. Either you leave, or I'll have the HOA enforcement team handle this." I laughed under my breath. "Enforcement team?" "Oh, trust me," she said, stepping closer, lowering her voice. "You don't want to mess with us. We run this place." I leaned against the porch rail, calm as a still lake. "That's funny," I said softly, pulling an old envelope from my jacket pocket. "Because according to the county records, this entire land, cabin, woods, and the road you just drove on, still belongs to one person." Her eyes narrowed. "Who?" I handed her the envelope. "Me." She froze, the color draining from her face for a moment. But then that smug smile returned. "We'll see about that," she said, snatching the envelope. "You're not scaring me." I gave a small shrug. "Didn't plan to. You'll scare yourself soon enough." She didn't realize I had a hidden camera running in my truck, recording every word. The sun dipped lower, painting the cabin walls in orange light, as she stomped away, talking fast into her phone. I could hear bits of her words. "Trespasser, old owner, bring the papers." I unlocked the door slowly, the creak echoing like a memory. Inside smelled of old pine and silence. Dust floated in the air, but my tools were still there. The hammer, the fishing rod, The framed photo of my father on the shelf. Nobody had truly lived here. They just claimed it. I heard tires crunching outside. A black SUV pulled up, and two men in cheap uniforms stepped out. No police logos. No badges. Just walkie-talkies and fake confidence. "Sir, step outside," one of them said firmly. "You're trespassing on HOA-controlled land." I stayed quiet for a moment, then looked straight at them. "Do you boys even know what HOA-controlled means on private property?" The taller one frowned. "Ma'am told us you're refusing to leave." "Ma'am?" I asked, smirking. "Oh, you mean Karen." Karen came walking up behind them, smug as ever, clutching her clipboard like a shield. "That's right. I'm the HOA president here, and these are our officers. We're removing you under the Neighborhood Safety Act." "Neighborhood Safety Act," I repeated, chuckling. "Never heard of that one in federal law." She snapped, "Don't get smart. These officers have authority." I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "Authority, huh? You sure about that?" The fake officers exchanged uncertain glances. I could see their hands trembling slightly. They weren't trained, not even close. Karen barked at them. "Do it! Remove him!" One of them hesitated. "Ma'am, maybe we should wait for—" "Now!" she yelled. And that's when the first twist hit. A black pickup truck rolled up from the opposite side of the road, engine growling low. The door opened, and out stepped a tall man in uniform. Real uniform. Sheriff's badge gleaming on his chest. Karen froze. "Wait, who called you?" The sheriff nodded toward me. "He didn't have to call," he said, walking past her. "This land's been on our protected property list since 2015, and you're standing on his porch." Karen's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The fake officers slowly backed away. I looked at her, calm as ever. "Told you," I said quietly. "You'd scare yourself soon enough." Karen's face turned pale, her fingers tightening around that useless clipboard like it could save her. The sheriff walked right up to her, his boots thudding on the wooden porch. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "you want to explain why there are unauthorized men wearing imitation uniforms on private property." Karen forced a shaky laugh. "Oh, Sheriff, this is just a misunderstanding. They're, HOA security volunteers." "Volunteers?" he repeated, glancing at the fake badges. "Because impersonating law enforcement isn't exactly volunteer work. It's a crime." The two men exchanged terrified looks. One of them mumbled, "She told us this was legal." Karen spun on them, whisper shouting, "Shut up! Don't say anything." The sheriff turned to me. "You said you're the legal owner?" I nodded and handed him a small folder from my truck. Title, deed, and tax receipts, all paid, all registered under my name. He flipped through the pages, then looked at Karen again. "Looks legit. In fact, this record shows no HOA jurisdiction filed here. You've got some explaining to do." Karen's fake confidence cracked. "Sheriff, please. We were just trying to protect the neighborhood. This man showed up out of nowhere. How were we supposed to know?" I crossed my arms, staring at her. "You could have started by not posting fake signs on someone else's land." Her eyes darted around, searching for an escape. "You think you can embarrass me like this? I run this community. People respect me here." The sheriff sighed. "Respect isn't something you get by lying, ma'am. Especially not on record." Her head snapped up. "Record?" I smiled faintly. "You didn't notice the camera in my truck, did you?" She turned toward the road, and there it was, my dashcam blinking red, recording everything since the moment I arrived. The sheriff's radio buzzed. A deputy's voice came through. "Sheriff, we've got reports of multiple fake HOA citations filed under her name. Want us to bring them in?" Karen's mouth dropped open. "What? That's not possible. Those were official." He raised an eyebrow. "Official? From where?" She didn't answer. The sheriff looked at me. "You want to press charges?" I thought for a moment, the quiet stretching between us. Then I said softly, "Not yet. I just want the truth first." Karen glared at me. "You'll regret this," she hissed, stepping back toward her SUV. I smiled. "Funny. That's exactly what you said an hour ago." And look how that turned out. She got in her car, tires screeching as she sped off. But as the dust settled, the sheriff turned to me with a strange look. "You should know something," he said quietly. "This isn't the first time she's done this, and I think your land's part of something bigger."